Hey everybody, welcome back to Day 3, Breakfast with Bob from Daytev Challenge Roth. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA Fly Human Fly, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Outrigger, Kona Resort and Spa, stay longer, save more. Our Challenge Athletes Foundation, we've now raised over $191 million to keep challenge athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, really one of our favorite guys. We haven't got a chance to chat with him for a while now. Mr. Joe Skipper. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, thanks, Bob. And yeah, it's always good to chat with you. It's been a while. I can't actually remember the last time I spoke to you. So yeah, it's good to have a little catch up and go over things with you.
I love that. Now, how many times have you raced here?
I think this will be my 5th time because I worked out the other day. So yeah, I first came here in 2016, and back then I was targeting a sub-8 performance. That would have been the British record. So
yes.
It shows you how much things have improved. And that was when Jan went 7:35, I think. And at the time, it was amazing. It was a big breakthrough.
Nobody will ever break that.
Yeah. It was like that. And now obviously 7:35. If you did that in Frankfurt, I don't think you'd have made the podium. So,
no. Well, and we were talking right before we started that there's always the times have been fast, but now there's a lot of people who are doing those times. Yeah,
and I think a lot of that comes down to for instance, the swim hasn't got much faster.
No.
And I think that's pretty much, I think the swim's really about the same as what it always has been. I think that's because the technology hasn't really improved. So people's performances are around the same. But then on the bikes have improved. Everyone's doing aerodynamics. Kit's improved a lot. And that's really helped the bike times and the bike speeds go a lot faster. And then same with the running. Back when I raced in 2016 and all the way up to basically COVID, carbon shoes weren't even out. So you were still racing in racing flats. I think when I did this in 2016, I was wearing the old Brooks racing shoes that you get that weigh 100 odd grams. They've got no cushioning in. That was
none whatsoever.
That was what you were wearing for an Ironman. Now you've got carbon shoes and you just don't break down as much, so people can just train harder, race faster, and that's helped get a lot of the breakthroughs that we see now.
Well, it helps with recovery. Patrick Lange was saying that's probably the one of the most important things with the carbon shoes is you recover quicker from races and from hard workouts.
Yeah, that's what I find. That it really helps you recover, so you can do more sessions. I was talking to a few of my friends back home recently, and I was saying before carbon shoes, you do a hard interval session, track session, and there was no way you'd be able to do a run, even a steady run the next day would have been hard. Your legs felt battered, whereas now you could do a hard track session the next day, your legs feel fine. You could do some intensity if you wanted to, or you could do actually a longer run or a hard, a moderate run, whereas before that would have been totally impossible. You were just battered.
When you look back over your career, and I was trying to count up all the Ironman races that you've done, and
how many have I done? Because I don't even know myself.
Well, it was. I think this is before. Now, have you done 2025? Have you done more than one? You did New Zealand?
I did New Zealand, and then I started Austria 3 weeks ago, but unfortunately had to pull out after the bike.
So based on that, 40 fulls and 10 wins.
Wow. That's not bad then. Yeah. 40 fulls. I mean, that's a hell of a lot. That's 40 marathoners. You go to some runner and say, you're going to run 40 marathons. Yeah. They say, you go screw yourself. I'm not running 40 marathons. I'm liking the sound of the 25% win chance. I'm thinking this will be my 3rd one of the year, and I haven't won one, so I might enter another one pretty soon. Well,
next weekend. Yeah, we'll find something for you next weekend.
yeah. I'll save it for Nice. If I don't win on Roth, I'm saving my one win for Nice.
That is cool. But early in the year, you got 2nd in New Zealand. And that's an early season race, but 51-minute swim, 4:10 bike, 2:40 marathon. I mean, that's a great day.
That was a good day, yeah. And I was, just before we started, you had a little chat to me about that, and that was actually faster than what I went in 2020.
When you won it?
Yeah, when I won the race. And there was a few of us that were in contention on that run, until the end. There was me, there was Jack Moody, and there was Mike Phillips. And we all raced really well. We all broke the old course record. So that was actually quite a good performance from me, and unfortunately Mike was just on a better day, but I actually felt when I looked at the numbers and how I raced that, I actually had a performance that I was quite pleased with.
So when you look back on all those 40 races, is there one that you look at and go, that was the perfect day? That was the way you always want to walk away from a race and go, I did everything right and everything worked out.
No, I don't think, definitely not.
Not yet.
No, I've never had a perfect day. There's always bits that I can improve on. But what I would say is the best race that I think I've probably had would be Wales in 2022.
Yes.
That was one, because I biked really well. I had a mechanical where I was at the side of the road and lost 15, maybe even more than 15 minutes, and then managed to have a run where I felt amazing on the run. It was one of those days where I don't know if you'd have it again in your career, you know, where you just feel fantastic from the moment you start. I never went through a bad patch. I knocked it back down in the last 10K to save myself before I went to Kona, and that was actually my fastest marathon to date, 2:37.
To the 7:24.
Yeah, and it's a long course as well. It's like 900 meters long, and it's got 600 meters of climbing. So like it's probably the hardest run course on the circuit, and it was my best run. But I did feel amazing. You know, one of them days where you remember and you think, God, I'd love to feel like that again. But in a big race, like I'd love to feel like that. So yeah, that was probably I would say that was probably my best performance that I've done. Definitely one that sticks out. And then other ones, Texas in 2015, I think I raced really well for where I was at, you know, in terms of my fitness back then. That was like a big breakthrough performance.
Yeah, and actually that one that you were just talking about, Wales, when you run 2:37 there, and that's a longer course. I mean, longer in terms of because of the conditions, 49-minute swim, 5-hour bike ride on a really brutal course.
Yeah, and like 15 to 20 minutes of that was stopped by the side of the road, and I still managed to get the course record. So it was like, you know, that
Would
was
you have flatted?
I had a problem with my chain, so
Okay.
it took ages, and then in the end, the motorbikes had to come up, and they had to take the chain off, and they had to completely get it out or not. And I didn't think at that point, I wasn't actually thinking that I was going to win it. I was just like, well, I just want to.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I got to get back to
use
transition anyways.
Well, I was kind of. I actually, to be honest, the atmosphere in that race is amazing. So I was thinking I'll do the bike, and I'll probably do a couple of laps of the run. And then we'll see how it's going, and I might, if I'm out of nowhere, at least I've got a good training day, you know. But the atmosphere in Wales is incredible, and actually, funny enough, I actually got disqualified from that, I think a year or two ago. Long story, but it was for like littering, and when I started the run, I was thinking I'm going to do 10K and then I'm stopping, because I knew I was going to get DQ'd, and then I did 20K, and I thought, actually, you know, the atmosphere is pretty good, and I'm actually quite enjoying this, and I know I didn't have anything to race for, you know, I knew I was going to get DQ'd, but I actually carried on, did the full marathon, because it was actually such a good experience, and I didn't really want to stop. So I knew how good the atmosphere is in Wales, and for anyone that hasn't done it, I think the atmosphere there is incredible. Well, definitely worth putting on your list.
So when you have a 5-hour bike ride, I'm assuming that you weren't leading off the bike. How many people did you have to pass to go with your? You had to run 2:37 to win the race.
No, I won it by 8 minutes in the end, so I knocked it back in the last lap. What was I, Dad? 15 minutes behind? About 5th place, 6th place? My memory is, because you run up towards the roundabout, and when you get to the roundabout, it's about 4 or 5K to the end, about 4K to the end of the lap.
Yes.
And when I was biking in, and I'd just gone past the roundabout, and I was about 500 meters down. Andy Horsfall Turner, who was leading the race, was coming up to the roundabout, and I thought to myself, I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to swear on here.
Yes, sure. You say
I thought, fucking hell, I'm nearly getting lapped here, like, and I haven't even started the run, like, like that was what actually came to my mind. But yeah, that sticks out. And then another good one, I think, what I had, which actually sticks in my mind, was Chattanooga in 2021. That was because of how it panned out. Like I got
7:46. Yes.
Yeah, I got to the end of I got to the swim. It was a downstream swim, so we knew it was going to be quick. But there was me, there was Lionel, there was Sam Long, Ben Hoffman racing, Cody Beals, and so it was quite a strong field. And it was obviously coming out of COVID when races were like getting back on, and so there was quite a good few of us there. But the way me and Sam Long raced that race together was really good. Like, we had a good game plan. Like, I remember before the race, I spoke to, like, we were in the registration tent, and like, you know, after the briefing or whatever, and I spoke to Lionel and Sam. We knew we were going to be behind, and I said, look guys, what we need to do is, because we're going to probably swim together, as soon as we get on the bike, we need to just like hit the gas straight away out of transition, because you come out of transition, you have about a 90-second 2-minute climb. So we said, we'll hit that really hard, make sure we do a good transition, hopefully us three will be away, we'll ride together, and then after the first lap, hopefully we'll be with the lead group, and then it's kind of every man for themselves then, but you know, it's in our best interest to get to the front of the race.
Yep.
And I said to Lionel, let's do that, and he said, I don't even think we need to talk about it. Like, I think that's all of our game plan. And I was like, all right, sweet, you know, like, we'll see how it goes. So me, Sam, Lionel, we came running through transition. I think I can't remember what one it was. I think Lionel might have been just in front of me, and I know Sam was just behind. We nailed it through transition. Me and Sam got out, We went full gas up the first climb, like I think it was like 550 watts. Looked round at the top.
550 watts.
Yeah, at the start. Like, I mean, it was not massive, but you obviously can't go like incredible because you've got to ride 112 miles. But it was hard enough that we knew if we had a gap, someone wasn't going to be able to bridge because it was like 90 seconds. You know, looked round at the top, and Sam goes, I don't think Lionel's here. We can put him out the race already. And we were like, all right, let's
screw Lionel.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like your friends when it works, aren't you? And like when it's not, it's like all fun, all's fair in love and war. But so we just drilled it. We rode across the lead group, and then it was like a bit of like cat and mouse to try and get away, but had a really good one. I ended up getting away with Sam Long because we caught the lead group. I managed to get away. Sam bridged up to me. It was kind of like a bit of cycling tactics, and then I remember later on in the ride going for a bad patch, and probably about 80 miles in, so about 140k, something like that. And I was thinking, oh, like, this is brutal, like, I'm going to get dropped, you know, and you're just hanging on. And then when I went on the front, it felt like it was easier because I could, like, knock it back a bit and ride at my own pace. But he must have been feeling the same because then towards the end of the ride, he
goes off the front?
Yeah, no, he went off the back. He just, like, he fell off a little bit, and I got into transition with a minute lead. And in Switzerland, which was 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, I ended up in a massive run battle with Jan van Berkel, and we spent about 35k of the run within 30 seconds of each other. I started the run before him, he bridged up to me, he got about 20 seconds, I got it back to 6 seconds, and we were like that. And it was like, and then when I got to the point of about 6 seconds, which was about 16, 17 miles into the run, I felt like, from what he said, when we were at the awards thing afterwards, he said, I saw him catch up with me, and I was trying to think negative thoughts, but then I thought to myself, you're in first, so you're in the driving seat, like, you know, focus on your own race. And then I ended up what I should have done was bridge the gap, caught him, put in a surge, because he would have doubted himself. And when I heard him at the awards thing, I was like, fuck, like, you know, I think he beat me because tactically he got the better of me, because third place was miles behind. So really, I should have caught him, put a dig in, and it might have worked, it might have not, but even if it didn't, I would have still got second. I wouldn't have had anything to lose, and I feel like he would have doubted himself if I'd have caught him and put a dig in, even though I knew that I was redlining it. So going back to Chattanooga, Sam was then bridging up to me, and you can hear it because you hear people cheering, don't you?
Yeah.
And then, like, at first you hear like a gap before they start the next person. And then the gap gets smaller, and then they don't stop. They're cheering you, and then they're cheering him. So I'm like thinking, right, he's about
it's
to
just
catch.
two of us. That's it.
It's about two of us, and he'd just finished it. Like, I think he'd just done 70.3 worlds, and he'd been on the podium, so he was in good shape. And I thought, right, he's about to catch me. And I thought, don't fuck this up like you did in Switzerland, you know, like. And I'd been mulling over that the whole time, you know, like for the 3 weeks leading into Chattanooga. So I was like, right, if I get in that position again, I know what tactics I'm going to do. So I was kind of getting ready for it, and then he didn't catch me, he just started falling back, and I ended up getting a big lead because he ended up not finishing, and then Lionel was in second, but I had 8 minutes on him. But at that point, it was like, for the first lap, the first 13 miles, I was thinking it could have gone either way, but it was just a really good race because I held really good power on the bike. I had a pretty good run, but also managed to execute it really well tactically, you know, and like I feel like got the best out of myself on the day. So that was a good one. And also racing those guys, it's always a good race for me because our strengths and weaknesses are all fairly similar. Like we all lose time on the swim. Yeah. We all ride roughly the same, and then you know it's either going to be a battle towards the end of the bike and on the run, and it's just like, you know, you're in for a good race. Like if I turn up to a race and Sam and Lionel are there, for me, I know we're going to be pretty much...
You're going to spend a lot of time together.
We're going to be pretty much here the whole way, and then it's just who falls off, basically. It's not like I'm racing someone and they're putting 6 minutes into me in the swim, and then I'm trying to catch them through the day. It's like us two are like, we're in it from the start. Who puts surges in? Can you hang with it? And then whoever's the fittest on the day is going to come out on top.
What blows me away when I look back at that 2021 is, you know, you're first in Chattanooga, you're second at Switzerland, third at Placid, first at UK. I mean, that's 4 freaking full Ironman. That's 4 marathons, and I'm sure there's other ones as well. But just are there points in a race when you're doing this stuff where you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I got to run another marathon. I've run so many of these. Or do you just stay in that moment and don't think about all the miles that you've put in?
I think you think, oh my God, I'm not doing another Ironman when you finish an Ironman.
Every time.
But when you're actually going into the race, if you're on for a good one, you're normally pretty excited. You're looking forward to it, and you're actually looking forward to actually doing the race. But I think when you start off on the run, no one's looking forward really to the marathon until you start. And then if you've got good legs at the start, you're looking forward to it and it's fantastic and you're enjoying it because the miles are ticking off quite quickly.
Right.
And it's not like you're on the limit from the start because you know you're going to blow. So you're kind of running within yourself, but at a nice pace. But then in an Ironman, it's kind of like, can you sustain it? So it's like the first 13 miles shouldn't feel that bad. Once you get to halfway, it starts getting progressively harder. And then obviously that's where it lasts from like 10 miles is like pretty grim, you know. But then if you're in the hunt for a good position and you're catching people in front and people are cheering you, it's like the adrenaline and everything is going really quick. Like if I was to do an Ironman in training, it would feel like it was taking me all day and it would be horrible. But in the race situation with all the fans, the supporters, the aid stations, it actually goes pretty quick. And you know, when you're on a good day, you're actually embracing it and looking forward to it.
And this course, obviously, when you talk about the crowds cheering, there's nothing like this course when you're going up Solar Hill. And then even on the run course, there's people everywhere.
There is, but on the canal, it's very lonely. It's very lonely on the canal. Yeah, like for the whole stretch on the canal, it's really lonely. And I've had good days on the canal and I've had bad days on the canal. And when you're on a good day, it's absolutely fantastic because you can see people for a long way ahead and you can just see that you're gradually picking them off and you're closing them down. And the mile, it's brilliant. When you're on a day where you feel like it's a bit harder work than what it should be, it's not very pleasant because that section feels like it takes forever and you can see right in the distance and you know you can't even see the turnaround on the canal, and that's a bit of a struggle.
I love it. Joe, have yourself a great race. What would it mean for you to win this one?
It'd be amazing.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that would be that would be absolutely awesome. I'd be very pleased. It would basically, because I think the last 18 months I haven't really, I don't think, had a consistent period. So, like, if I was to win it, then that would make it all worthwhile.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'd be happy if I got on the podium. If I get on the podium, like, that would be a good result for me. And I do think a win could be on the cards because I think looking at this race, it's very open this year.
It's so open.
There's not
I think so,
one, like, in the last year when you looked at it.
Magnus. Yeah, it's Magnus and everybody else.
He was, like, the big favourite, and then, obviously, he performed on the race day, so it was, like, totally justified. But this year, you look at it and you think there's some names, a lot of people that could win, but if you look at everyone's build-up, it doesn't seem like there's one person who's had a fantastic build-up where they've gone to lots of races and they've smashed it, and, like, you look at it and you think, oh, well, he's won by 10 minutes and he's doing this. You look at this and you think they could win it, but they haven't had a great build-up. So could this person, so could that person. So I think it's all going to come. I think it's going to come down to the run. It's going to be pretty close on the run.
Question. How about a big round of applause for Mr. Joe Skipper? Always such a treat to chat with you, my friend. It's been way too long. I just love your enthusiasm for racing.
Yeah, cheers, Bob. Thanks for having us on.
Joe Skipper has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob. Hold on, we'll be right back.